You probably haven't heard of this car before, but by the end of this video, you might actually just be thinking about buying one. This is the Ora Cat. It's a new EV that's cheap, has a good range, and gets loads of equipment as standard. In this video, we're going to tell you everything that you need to know about the car. But before all that, if you want lots of new car reviews, make sure you're subscribed to our channel. And if you're looking for a new car, go to whatcar.com because there we can get you a great deal. First, a bit of background. China is the largest manufacturer and buyer of electric cars in the world, and Great Wall Motors is one of the biggest brands over there. Ora is an EV-only sub-brand from Great Wall Motors, and in China, the Ora Good Cat has been on sale for around a year, becoming one of the best-selling EVs in the country. That car is now headed to Europe as the Ora Cat. Now, size-wise, it's quite similar to the VW ID.3, so it might look like a kind of a small Renault Zoe mini electric rival, but it's actually bigger than those cars. Styling-wise, it's got a bit of a retro look going on with these round headlights that are kind of similar to what you get with the Mini Electric and also the Fiat 500 Electric. These headlights, by the way, are LEDs as standard, and you also get 18-inch alloys too. At the back, there's a light bar across the rear, and the indicators are down here. But overall, what do you think? Does this look better than the VW ID.3? Tell us in the comments below. And by the way, did you know that this car was actually designed by a former Porsche designer? See the resemblance? No, we don't either. Now, the important numbers. You can get the Cat with 2 batteries, 48 kilowatt hours or 63 kilowatt hours. In the bigger battery, the claimed range is 261 miles, and in the smaller battery, it'll do 201 miles. So even the smaller battery travels further than the Mini Electric and the Fiat 500 Electric. And yes, there is a VW ID.3 which can do 340 miles, but that's the most expensive version that you can buy. The cheaper versions of that car are pretty similar to what you get with the Cat. No matter which battery you go for, the performance specs are very similar. So every Ora Cat is front-wheel drive with around 166 brake horsepower, and it'll do 0 to 62 miles per hour in 8.5 seconds with a top speed of 100 miles an hour. There's also a one-pedal driving function too. It can charge at up to 80 kilowatts as standard, so you can get a 10 to 80% charge of the smaller battery in 40 minutes and 50 minutes with the bigger battery. Inside the Ora Cat, you have a pretty good interior, to be honest. So you've got 2 10.5-inch screens, which you can see here. They're joined together on the dashboard to give you a digital driver display and a touchscreen infotainment system. Now, we haven't spent that long with this infotainment system, but it's long enough to realize that it is better than what you get in the VW ID.3. So it's really snappy in its responses, there's no lag, and you also get wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto as standard on every model. You also get a 360-degree camera and rear parking sensors, plus on some of the higher trim levels, you can get facial recognition technology, which basically means that when you get in the car, it will load up your driver profiles and things like that. But it's also a safety feature because it monitors how alert or tired you are. And actually this car does get quite a lot of safety equipment as standard, like blind spot monitoring and lane keeping assistance. And it's also going to have the Euro NCAP crash test done on it at some point. And apparently Great Wall Motors has said that it doesn't think there's any point bringing a car to Europe unless it can achieve the full 5-star rating from that test. So we'll have to see what happens exactly when it undergoes it. Now, elsewhere in this interior, it really is pretty good. So no, this isn't real leather, this isn't real suede, but it feels reasonably nice. Not all the plastics do necessarily, but when you factor in how much this car costs and the kinds of electric cars that it's going to be up against, then it is really impressive. This panel up here could feel really cheap, really wobbly and flimsy, but it doesn't. It feels really solid, and the buttons have got a nice solid action to all of them, and all the switchgear feels pretty good, to be honest. And what's also impressive is that everything that you see here, the layout and the look, is going to be what you get on the entry-level version of the Ora Cat. The only difference is that you won't be able to get this two-tone look on that version of the car. So the entry-level model is going to have a black interior, but all the materials and the plastics and the switches are all going to be the same. You'll also get a coat hanger down here on the dashboard, and the Chinese versions of this car have a steering wheel that only moves up and down, but the European versions of the car get a steering wheel that moves in and out as well. So is the quality better than what you get in the ID3? Well, the ID3 definitely doesn't have a brilliant interior because there are nice bits, but there are quite a lot of cheaper feeling bits as well. And you've got a similar makeup to the Ora Cat as well. But if the ID3 is better, it's definitely not better by a million miles. And overall, this is a really impressive interior when you factor in the price and the other rivals that it's up against. Space in the back is pretty good really overall. I'm just under 6 foot, the driver's seat's in my driving position and I've got absolutely loads of leg room. So even if you're especially tall with very long legs, you'll be able to stretch out and get comfortable. You do have a slightly odd sitting position because this rear bench feels quite low to the relatively high floor, and also headroom isn't amazing. So if I sit normally, then I have got a bit of clearance above my head, but if I sit up straight and put my head on the headrest, then I'm just touching the roof lining at the back, which isn't great. So overall, a VW ID3 is a bit more accommodating for tall adults in the back. But compared to other EVs like the Fiat 500 and the Mini Electric, there's loads more room back here than what you get in those cars. What is a shame though, is that on the tops of the doors, at the front, you've got soft touch materials, but in the back, they've been swapped for these cheaper feeling plastics. That rear seat space does come at the cost of the boot, because as you can see, it's not particularly big. Now, it has a capacity of 228 litres, which to be fair, is bigger than what you get in the 500 electric and in the Mini Electric, but it's some way off what you get in the pretty big boot with the VW ID3. There is a little bit of underfloor storage here where you can stuff a charging cable or two, but otherwise, there isn't much going on here, and it isn't particularly big at all. You've also got these slightly awkward bulges on either side and a massive loading lip. You can get an electric tailgate, but that's likely only to be standard on the top trim. The full trim lineup has yet to be confirmed, but it's likely that you'll have 3 to choose from. And on the top 2 trims, you'll be able to add this GT styling pack, which basically adds things like this carbon fiber effect rear diffuser, a slightly different look to the front, different alloys, this rear spoiler, and inside you get some GT branding and matching seat belts as well. Now, you might be feeling a bit cautious about buying a new car from a relatively unknown brand here in Europe, but for extra peace of mind, every Ora Cat is going to get a 5-year warranty as standard. And it's not been confirmed, but it's likely that will be an unlimited mileage warranty as well. The battery is going to be covered by a separate 8-year warranty. But are you going to want to buy one? Well, the UK order books open in December this year, and we're told that the starting price is going to be around £25,000, which is very competitive. Great Wall Motors is apparently very serious about this entry to Europe. It's even considering buying the Nissan plant in Barcelona to build cars over here rather than sending them over from China. And the Ora Cat shows it could have a product to make an impact. It's cheap, loaded with tech, impressive inside relative to its price tag, and it should go pretty far on a full charge. But will this car have enough to challenge all the other small EVs it's up against? Subscribe to our channel so you can see our full review of the car as soon as we've driven it. And don't forget, if you want a great deal on your next car, click on the link to go to whatcar.com.